The MLB trade deadline is just a couple days away, and yes, it has been a while. It's been over a month, but I'm back. The KO Sports Corner is back. No longer KO Podcast. I'm gonna be making a video of why I changed the name. I mean, it's pretty obvious. There's a lot more KO Podcast names, but we're talking about the MLB trade deadline and what do we know as of right now, right the moment I'm recording this video. It's gonna give a couple tweets out there, put them up on the screen as we talk. New intro. Let's hit it. Once again, my name is Kevin Barral of the KO Sports Corner. Make sure to like and subscribe, follow us on all our social medias linked below. We're trying to hit 200 subscribers by the end of the month or by the end of the start of the next month, August. Just try to let's get to 200 subs. Share the video, share it to everyone you can, like, subscribe, comment down below what video ideas you guys want to see with the MLB trade deadline, NFL season starting up, and the NBA draft and free agency coming up. So let's get into our first piece of news, which is Byron Buxton did decline a deal to go back to the Minnesota Twins, a contract extension, and he's probably getting traded. I've heard the suitors most likely could be a team like the Yankees. You could hear the Phillies, Astros. Those are the kinds of teams that would most likely be interested in Byron Buxton trade. You also have the main team I think that would really want him would be the Phillies. That would make the most sense for him to go to a team like Philadelphia, go in there and compete with those guys, which is a team that I think right now is in playoff contention. They could really make the wild card. The only way you win in the NL East, in the National League Eastern Conference Division, is if you win that division. If you win it, you're in the playoffs. If not, you're not in the playoff because the Dodgers and the Padres are just absolute stud teams. So it's just something to keep in mind with there. The Mets are another team that I would really think would go after Byron Buxton, but I don't think it's the biggest suitor for him, not the best fit either. So we'll talk about the New York Mets in a little bit. Let's go on to the second tweet, which is the second piece of news of what we know as of right now. We've talked about the Miami Marlins for the longest time in the trade deadline, and now we know 100% they are selling their players off, including Starlin Marte, Jesus Aguilar, Pablo Lopez, Garrett Cooper. You also have anyone they can really at this point that has a lot of value to their team. They're blowing this thing up. They're removing the 2020 playoff team that just made it 1 year ago. They're going to make some moves. The teams that are interested in the big fish of the market for the Miami Marlins, Starlin Marte, are the Phillies, Yankees, Astros. Those are some teams you could for sure keep in mind. But one bonus team I would throw in there are the San Francisco Giants, who have prospects to give. Heliot Ramos, which is one the Miami Marlins have huge interest in. And then you have Joey Bart, the future catcher for the San Francisco Giants. But their window is very, very well there. They could really make some moves now and just give up Joey Bart. You keep Buster Posey for a couple more years, try to win the World Series ring as quick as possible. That would make sense. But you can't give up two prospects for one, and two top-tier prospects like Heliot Ramos and then Joey Bart. Miami would have to give up an Adam Duvall kind of player, Jesus Aguilar. You could give up Yimi Garcia, Richard Blyer. You could give maybe even Anthony Bender, which has been discussed so many times. If you guys want to hear more about the trade deadline for the Miami Marlins, then you guys could go to Fish Stripes. I'll leave the link in the description. We're going to be live tomorrow for the Baltimore Orioles series talking about the trade deadline, especially the trade deadline. And it was reported that Starlin Marte, so going back to the Marlins here, we're going to talk a little bit about Starlin Marte and why he's actually leaving the Marlins, why they're going to trade him. So Marte always had interest in staying with Miami, finishing his career in Miami. It just didn't work out with the contract negotiations. He wanted 4 years, $40 million, and that Miami just couldn't go that high. They went 3 years, $30 million. They went as close to $40 million as possible. They just did not give him the fourth year, and he immediately just stopped any conversations after the All-Star break. He said he would no longer be talking contract extensions. So Miami's most likely going to get rid of him and trade him away. But one thing Miami's going to prioritize is getting their center fielder of the future in any of these trades, really. And Heliot Ramos is one of those guys who I would love to have on the Miami Marlins to be that center fielder of the future. Or Miami goes out there and gets an MLB-ready center fielder who could just come in right now and help. I like Kevin Newman. He's a young guy. He could 100% help the Miami Marlins now in a future standpoint, but I don't think that would be the best fit, as he is a guy who has a lot of value, and Pittsburgh would most likely sell him off to a contending team. Now we're going to go into tweet number 3, which is a tweet talking about the Yankees that I've checked in on Trevor Story. So Trevor Story is one guy who has been the big fish of the trade deadline when it comes to infielders. The teams that have been really discussed have been White Sox, Yankees, and Athletics. The team that I think will take him in will most likely be the Yankees, trying to make one last push at that playoff or even wild card spot, because I don't think they're going to win their division, but they have a good chance of winning the wild card spot. So I'm going to read off the tweet right now. I'm going to look at this computer. So it'll look like this. The infield for the Yankees will look LeMahieu at first, Torres at second, Trevor Story at the shortstop, and Gio Urshela at third base. That is if the Yankees acquire Trevor Story. And Clint Frazier would most likely be gone. Luke Voigt is another name who I've been hearing possible trades over to the Rangers or even the Rockies to get that value for Trevor Story, because they know how much Trevor Story is the top 5 shortstop in the major leagues right now. So it just makes sense to get as much value as possible. The Yankees have also been in talks for Joey Gallo. The Padres have as well. And the Padres, I mean, speaking of trades, we're going to get into that at the end, but we're going to go into rumors first. Trevor Story, Joey Gallo possibly hitting up the Yankees. That would make them a lot better, and that would make that team a top 5 team in the league, even though we thought that would happen. But injuries for sure have kept the Yankees back in contention, and then have not allowed them to make moves. And Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman, they got to go. Trust me, they got to go. So next is John Heyman tweet talking about Max Scherzer. The Washington Nationals are officially in sell mode. We thought they were buyers and sellers. We thought they were going to do both. They're going to sell. There's another tweet after this one that I'm putting up right now. That means they're going to sell. They're selling off the team. That's it. They just don't think they could compete with the NL East anymore, even though I think they would. They should. But Max Scherzer is up for grabs. Dodgers have been one of the teams that have been mainly talked about. You also have the Padres as another team being talked about there. It's mainly the Dodgers, the Padres, the big fish of the big fish of the pitchers. It's Max Scherzer. Any team would love to have a guy like Max Scherzer on your squad. The Mets could be a good option for him. I don't think he's going to go, though. So Max Scherzer is going to be getting a huge haul back, especially the type of pitcher this guy is. He is a starter. He is an ace. He could give you no hitters. He could pitch a full game if he would like to, especially at the age where he is right now in his career. And he just wants to win another World Series. He's trying to compete. He's not trying to get into rebuild again with the Washington Nationals. Other players, the Nationals can really get rid of his Trey Turner. You also have Kyle Schwarber, who's injured right now. Steven Strasburg would be very highly doubted if he gets traded. Brad Hand, you have there. Daniel Hudson. Those are just some guys that the Nationals could sell off, got some big-time prospects back, and make something happen for the future of the team. Well, pretty much the Nationals are in that situation the Marlins are. They have a good team, just can't get the best out. Okay, next tweet is another Miami Marlins tweet. It says, Marlins working on moving Marte, Duvall, and relievers. But when teams like the Reds asked on Miguel Rojas, they continue to decline. And then that just mentions the Reds need a shortstop, and Rojas or Nick Ahmed would be good fits. Marlins are not trading Miguel Rojas. That's pretty much where I wanted to go with this tweet. Miguel Rojas is the heart and soul of the Miami Marlins. There's absolutely no way Miguel Rojas is getting traded. I wouldn't be surprised if the Marlins trade Adam Duvall. I wouldn't be shocked if they trade relievers like Blyer, maybe Floro, John Curtis, Zach Pop. I do like. He's a young guy. Anthony Bender, it wouldn't surprise me, but at the same time it would, because it's a young guy who the Marlins might want to work on and make that guy the man of the bullpen. You know what I mean? So it's just something to talk about there. Miami's just in sell mode right now. It's the only way you could put it in. And that's all we could say. I mean, and then we're going to come into the final tweet, which is another New York Yankees tweet, which is the Yankees have had trade conversations to get Max Kepler, a absolute good player for this team. The Yankees were one of the possible fits given the shortage of left-handed hitting, as John Jastrzemski mentioned to me last night. They mentioned it as John Morosi, one of the top reporters in MLB, one of the guys who really breaks a lot of news, like Jeff Pass and all those good guys out there in Twitter. So Yankees getting some hitting, which is something they need. They need offense. They need some pitching. They could get maybe one more bullpen piece. They need a lot of stuff. In Trevor Story, maybe Gallo comes in. If you get Max Kepler, a very good player, that could all end up in the Yankees' hands, and they could be back in competition, maybe even clinch a wild card spot, which is pretty much the goal for that whole division right now. The Blue Jays, the Yankees, the Red Sox, and Tampa Bay. That division isn't secured either way. So, I mean, any team could, that division is up for grabs, as well as the wild card spot in the American League. Now, I do want to mention the trades that have already gone down, starting with the first one, which is the Corey Dickerson trade. We already talked about that on La Peseta, the Miami Marlins. Goes up to that channel. Miami got Joe Panic in return. That was pretty much the big time trade. The Yankees got LeCastro. He's injured now with an ACL injury. So Yankees are most likely, that's one of the biggest reasons why they're going to go after Joey Gallo. And then you had another trade of Rich Hill. Rich Hill got traded over to the New York Mets. Now, just last night, Adam Frazier, a top shortstop in the league, got traded over to the San Diego Padres. And it's just been madness, man. Tampa Bay got Nelson Cruz. He's already hit some bombs and helped Tampa Bay out. So a lot of news there to talk about in the MLB, guys. Let me know what you guys think about the new logo, the new videos, all that good stuff on this KO podcast. We're trying to make production 100% perfect. We're trying to make it the best production out there on YouTube. Let me know what you guys think. The editing, the way I'm just talking about these players. Let me know in the comment section what video ideas I should make, tier list, maybe some breaking down each trade, breaking down minor leagues. I do want to get into minor league play a lot more. We're going to get into the NFL. I'm going to make an NFL podcast. Hopefully I could get Octavio in there. So it's just a lot to talk about in NFL, MLB, NBA. It's going to be crazy. I know I haven't live streamed in a long time. I will live stream once again once I have a good consistent schedule of uploads, which I do want to make. So for sure, we'll talk about that. Like and subscribe, guys. I mean, that's all I could really tell you. Please like and subscribe. Follow the channel. Share this to all your friends. If you guys want the best sports news, come to the KO podcast. KO podcast, crap. KO Sportscast. My name is Kevin Barra, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Cue the new outro.